Before we get into today's episode, let's hop into our listener corner and go over some of our favorite replies from the previous episode. The question we asked was, what are some wacky level combinations do you think could be found with level 38? And you all gave some pretty cool replies. Here are some of our favorites. The first reply comes from Cheddar saying, a mix of level 11 and level 9, of course at daytime. That's a pretty nice mix-up. If being chased by the Watchers, you could just keep running until you reach the city, and would make sense going off their respected aesthetics. Thanks for the reply, Cheddar. Next up is Rat Fairy replying, the pool rooms mixed with level ! Also known as level run for your life. We love this combination. You're running/swimming for your life, all while entities are on your tail. Like a backroom Iron Man run, but deadly. Thank you for this fun reply. Thank you all for your amazing replies, and keep them coming. We love reading them. That's all for the listener corner, so let's get into today's episode. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Traveler's Guide to the Backrooms, where we try to go over and explain the lore of the many levels and entities within. My name is Sharp A3, an MEG AI processing system, and today, we'll be going over a pretty simple level within the Backrooms. So, I hope you know how to keep your nostalgia in check, because today, we'll be no-clipping into level 70. Basic descriptions. Level 70, also known as the Deposit, is the 80th level within the Backrooms, with a survival difficulty class of 1. That being safe, secured, and has a minimal entity count. Level 70 is fairly simple, all things considered. Basically, it can be summed up as an infinitely large storage warehouse with the occasional entity sighting and some very party-goer-like traps scattered throughout the level. So with those pretty basic descriptions out of the way, let's get into what can be found here. Appearances. Level 70 takes the appearance of an immense interior structure, resembling that of a storage unit building. It's unknown how large the level is in size, as there aren't many reports on the matter, though as always, if the rough measurements aren't presented, it's best to go off the guess that the level is infinite in size. While traversing the level, you'll be met with an unknown amount of storage containment, most of which numbering from 0 to 999. Along with these storage lockers and the concrete walls and flooring, the air is noted to be rather dusty and dank. Because of this, those with respiratory problems should consider coming equipped with breathing aids. Though the lighting within the level isn't stated in any reports, from photos available to us, industrial fluorescent lighting can be seen, much like those found in other warehouse-like levels, such as Level 1. It can be assumed no anomalous traits come from them, due to the lack of information on them. Or at the very least it's undocumented. Touching back on the storage lockers, not all are locked. Some that seem to be locked can be entered into with some effort. Though some if not most of the lockers may be empty, some are reported as having some items within them. Entities are also found within some of these lockers, but we'll get into that in a bit. These items are quite dangerous for wanderers to interact with, being classified as nostalgia traps. These nostalgia traps take the form of items from wanderers' past, especially those the wanderer ties great emotions to. Much like a childhood keepsake or a family heirloom. These items can be identified by the auditory cues or hallucinations that emit from them. These cues are specific to the wanderer in question, making them quite varied in what they could be. That's not all though, as you can tell from the name, these items can cause harm to wanderers who fall for their lures. It's not stated how, nor do we have examples of the actions in play, but when a wanderer comes into contact with these items, usually results in their death. As we'll state again, it's unknown how this occurs, and due to the ethical dilemma at play, research into the matter is at a standstill. Scavenge and supplies. Level 70 scavenge-wise leaves a lot to be desired. And by that we mean there aren't any documented resources to be found here, besides maybe the scrap metal in the form of locker doors. Though scrap metal can be found in more easily accessible levels, making that notion fairly unreasonable. So, if you're on the lookout for a level for some prime scavenge, maybe skip level 70 in your search. Entities. When it comes to entities within level 70, a relatively low amount can be happened upon while traversing the level, though skin stealers and dullers are reported as being more common to run into. They're known to patrol the halls somewhat regularly, so have your weapons at the ready while traveling just in case you chance upon them. As we touched on earlier, entities can be found within lockers as well, though this only applies to death moths, so be vigilant when opening up these spaces. You don't want to be the poor victim of a horrible acid attack. Settlements and outposts. As far as we're aware, there are no documented settlements or outposts within level 70. Though, if you're willing to deal with entities from time to time, level 70 can be a great place to set up shop for a small base or hideout. As for larger grouping, establishing your own space and defending it shouldn't be too hard. Barring you have the manpower, adequate supplies, and the ability to retrieve more of said supplies from another source outside of level 70. Much like other levels we've gone over, the ability to establish a base here would rely on how prepared and willing the wanderers in question are. Because in the case of level 70, it's very much possible if one's willing to put in the work. Ins and outs. When it comes to entering level 70, the only documented method to do so is by entering a door within level 2 that's marked with a 70. A fairly easy way to enter a level, all things considered. Exiting level 70 is rather easy as well, though there are multiple ways to do so. The first method of exiting level 70 is by chancing upon it by entering a numbered locker throughout the level. It's documented that doing so can send wanderers to the level corresponding to the number on the storage locker. However, it should be noted that unexplored levels cannot be entered using this method. It's unknown how level 70 knows when a level has been unexplored, so having access to a database much like the MEGs to use as a reference would help greatly when undergoing this method. The other way to exit level 70 is by finding and entering a blue door, normally situated at the end of the halls throughout the level. Doing so will bring you to level 71, though this method is not recommended. This is due to the strange properties of level 71, so keep that in mind when trying to leave level 70. Closing words. So, that was level 70 of the Backrooms. What did you all think of the level? What would be your specific nostalgia trap? We would love to hear what you all think. As always, if you have any questions, suggestions, or just want to say hi, feel free to join our Discord server or email us. Both will be in the show notes. That's going to be all for today's episode, so thanks for listening and we hope to see you all again soon. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and be safe out there. I would like to say a very special thank you to our patrons over at Patreon. Starting with the Wanderers at the $1 level, we have Nathan Gear, Sushi Penguini, Shelby Girl Gaming, Ridiculous, My Friends Call Me PK, EVGBs, Coconut Cluster, and Brandon Briers. As for our Junior Explorers, we have Kimmy H. Next up are our Senior Explorers at the $8 level. Starting us off, Teresa's Kylo Manny, Rachel, Nanacord, Brandon Berry, and Cassie Cast Iron Crow. Thank you all for going that extra step to support us and what we do. It's greatly appreciated. That's gonna be all from us today, so as always, thank you all for listening, and have a wonderful day.